Hey, welcome back to another Top of the Chops. This week I thought I'd do something a bit different. To switch it up, I thought I'd take you through some of the songs that I've actually been a part of and show you all the guitar parts. So this week I want to take a look at ZAYN's Pillowtalk. I was lucky enough to be a part of this song and it went #1 all over the world back in 2016. Was it 2016? Either 15 or 16. I think we made it in 15, it came out in 2016. So it was produced by Levi Lennox, written by Michael and Anthony Hernandez, also known as MYKL, and I was lucky enough to get a small publishing share on the song as well. So I thought it'd be a good idea because I can give a bit more of an insight on how the song was made, how it came about, and how you can kind of get guitars into a big pop record nowadays. I'm not going to do this every week. I've only had one #1 under my belt, so I can't do lots of them. I can take you through some other songs that I've been a part of as well down the line, but I think I'll just kind of slot these in every now and again just to switch it up a little bit. I'm also thinking about interviewing some other guitarists down the line, so some guitar players in bands or maybe some session guitarists that have songs out, just so that they can take us through some of their songs as well, so look out for that in the future. But for now, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified of future videos, and let's get started. So my trusty Fender bass breaker blew on me a couple of days ago. Two of the valves were red plating in the back. Luckily, Andertons are collecting it tomorrow. But I am today plugged into my interface behind me, and I'm using the PRS Waves plugins. There's 3 amps in a bundle, and it's kind of lucky in a way that I am, because that's how I recorded Pillowtalk. So I think I used a Pod HD 500X. In fact, I know I did. So that was digital as well. So the fact that I'm using digital plugins and what I recorded on was digital kind of helps in a way. And that's why I've got my PRS guitar today as well, because this is the actual guitar that the song was recorded on. I don't get this out as much at the moment because I'm still in my honeymoon phase with my custom shop Strat. But it's a great guitar and I would never sell this guitar because it got me my first #1. So obviously the presets that I had on my pod, I had literally a clean, a crunch, an overdrive and a lead. So I've set those similar on these patches here, so it should get a kind of similar sound. There's also an acoustic guitar on the song, so I'm going to give you a close-up shot of that. And I don't actually have my looper pedal on today because that was part of my amp setup as well. So I'm going to kind of record it how I did when I recorded the actual song. I'll lay down the guitar chords and then layer everything else on top of it. So I'm going to kind of record it how I did when I recorded the actual song. I'm going to lay the chords down and then I'll layer some of the other parts on top of it so you can hear in Logic. So the way the song kind of came about, I started working with a producer called Levi Lennox. At the time I was working with a few producers. There was Rags Original and Ill Blue. I was kind of working between them, going in, doing additional production, laying guitars down. And then I met a load of producers off of the back of that and started working in production myself, and yeah, kind of went from there. Now, the first few sessions I had with Levi, I think maybe the 3rd session in, he pulled out this song and it was literally the beat and the vocals on top. And he sent it to me, I think that night, so that I could put some guitar parts on it and send the stems back to him. So obviously I did that straight away. And then I think we kind of built it over a few sessions, and then the song didn't come out for maybe 1.5 years. So they had it ages before even I did, and then when I added my parts to it, yeah, it was still like 1.5 years from there. But that's typical in the music industry. You can have a song that you wrote 3 years ago and then it finally sees the light of day. I've had that happen quite a few times. So yeah, we kind of had the ups and downs of being told, oh, it's going to be a single, it's not, it's going to be on the album, it's not, and then obviously the excitement of it all coming out and yeah, kind of changing our lives really. I got a publishing deal off of the back of it, or that helped get me my publishing deal, and started working with a lot of people off the back of it. But yeah, in terms of the actual how the song came about. It was after a few sessions. I got him some guitar parts. I think I gave him loads of guitar parts and he just took like the power chords that are in the chorus, I think. And then from there onwards, when I was in the studio, it's like, oh, why don't you put some acoustic guitar on it? And then I think Mike and Ant, the two writers, came in to one of the sessions and said, oh, it might be cool to put some lead guitar on the chorus parts. And I think that's where I kind of earned my small publishing share, because I added those nice lead parts, which are almost kind of like vocal melody-ish, but they just lift the song and just take it somewhere else in that chorus, or in terms of the production anyway. So what I'll do is I'll show you kind of each of those individual parts as a close-up shot and talk you through what all those parts are. So the first part that actually happened in the song was the distorted power chords. But I'll show you those after I've done the acoustic guitar part, because you can kind of layer that on top, or I can in Logic. So the acoustic guitar chords are basically the chorus part, and the verse and the chorus chords are exactly the same, but it starts on an E major, and I just use the open E major chord, and then I go to an F sharp minor, which is the bar chord. And those of you that know your modes, that spells out a typical E Lydian chord progression. And it even resolves to the B, which is the B major at the end. But the fact that it goes between the E and the F major a couple of times just tells me Lydian straight away. So it's 125 BPM, yeah. And it's just kind of like a slow standard acoustic guitar strum. So there's that B major, which is the A shape, moved up to the 2nd fret, which is the key of the song, and it just resolves there and then goes back to your E again to start off the next part. Now, the power chords that come in are very, very simple. You're just literally sliding in with some big distortion. I was very happy I got to put some real heavy distorted guitars on a pop R&B song. So it's literally just a power chord on E, and then it goes to the F sharp, back to the E, F sharp, and B. So exactly the same as the acoustic guitars were, but with power chords instead. Okay, so those power chords are actually the first time you hear the guitars in the song. You might think that the first hit in the song is a guitar, but it's actually, I think, Omnisphere patch, which is a plugin by Spectrasonics. So Levi was using that quite a lot, and it might have been in the guitar section in that, or it might have just been a patch he had externally loaded into Omnisphere, because I know they had a lot of expansion packs at the time. So the first time you actually hear the guitars come in is when it slides in with those big distorted chords. Then in the second verse, there's like a plucked, muted lead part, which is kind of like a MJ Human Nature sort of vibe. And it's on the 13th fret on the D string. So if you think of this as your B major pentatonic starting on the 14th fret on the A string. And if you're like me and you think of them as the minor pentatonics, it's shape 4 starting on the 11th fret. But yeah, obviously you're going to start it, if you're in B major, on your little finger. So it's kind of like a, I think, semi-quaver muted thing. And then going between the 13 and the 11 then. Yeah, so 2 semiquavers to start and then quavers. And it repeats again, but it adds like a little hammer on from the 11th fret on the G string to the 13th fret. And then 11 again with some nice vibrato. Okay, and that, yeah, basically just loops around for the whole verse. And then the second chorus is where everything comes in at once. So you've got your acoustic guitar, you've got your power chords, and then you've got that soaring lead underneath as well. So I kind of play this lead part similar to a vocal melody. There's lots of sliding around to make it very kind of smooth and legato-ish, and loads of vibrato as well to make it really sing. So it starts in that same sort of area again, but we're going to slide from 11 on the G string to 13. Back down to 11, and then a grace note slide from 13 to 15 on the G string, and a semitone bend, release it back again, 13th fret on the G string, and then you're going to go 11 on the G down to 11 on the D, and slide into a 9 to resolve it to that B on the D string. So that whole part. Okay, and I kind of think of this again like a vocal melody. It's split into 2 parts, so then it rises, so it takes it to another level after that, similar to how you sometimes have like an A and B section in a chorus, or a chorus and a post-chorus. So we jump up to 11th fret on the B string and hit 11, 12. And then we're going to slide down from 11 to 7. Back up. And then a bit of an earlier slide from the 11 to 7 this time, so that we've got time to fit the last part in, which is 6 to 8 on the G string. And I think that's most of the guitar parts. There's a little lead bit, which is more of like an ad-lib thing. I think I did a whole ad-lib track, or an improvisation track of leads, and he just took what he wanted, basically, him being Levi. So there's this little, and that's in the bridge, I think, but it might come in other parts as well. So it's a hammer on from 11 to 13 on the D string, and then 11 to 13 on the G string. But you come back to the 11, and then you hit 13 and 11 again on the G string. So, and that is literally all the guitar parts in the song. So the way I've stacked it, like I said before, I've put the acoustic guitar chords on, and then each part that you've seen afterwards when I've done close-up shots might be layering on top of some of those other parts. But yeah, that's basically it. So if you want to have a look at each of those individual parts, or if you just kind of came for the story of how it happened and how I got to work on this song, then hopefully you've learnt something. But yeah, hope you enjoy playing it. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this, guys. I hope it was insightful. For those of you that were looking forward to Drake's Tootsie slide, I can also do that as an extra. Just drop a comment below and let me know that you want to see it. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.